Jai Shri Mataji. On this auspicious occasion of Shri Navratri Puja, we welcome you all for this seminar through Nirmal Gyan program. Today, we are going to cover some important aspects of Navratri. Of course, we all know that there are many aspects, and Shri Mataji has spoken about Devi, that she has 21 raised to the power 16,000 powers. So it is close to impossible to cover all that in one seminar. So we have chosen 4 topics from Shri Mataji's speeches which are going to cover in this seminar. First one is discipline. Discipline yourself to awaken the powers within. Then we talk about recognition of Shri Mataji. This is the only way to be protected. Then we are going to talk about Bhakti and Shraddha. And lastly, Shri Mataji says Navratri is like thanksgiving to the Devi. As we always say, that we are just facilitators through this Nirmal Gyan program. All the knowledge is coming directly from Shri Mataji, and it is very important that we listen to the lectures of Shri Mataji. Through this seminar, we will be playing few excerpts from different speeches, and we request you all to listen to the entire speech which is available on our Nirmal Gyan program YouTube channel. We have been selecting speeches with some aspects which we are going to talk about. But when you hear the complete speech, we will realize there are many more things which Shri Mataji has said which will help us for our own ascent and meditation. So let's pray to Shri Mataji to awaken the blessings of the Devi today and nourish us with the great blessings of Shri Adi Shakti. Param Pujya Shri Mataji, you are the doer and the enjoyer. Please give us permission to start this seminar, and please guide us as we understand the different aspects of Navratri. Let's now collectively raise Kundalini and take Bandhan. We'll say the 3 Mahamantras.
You got it. May God bless you all. May God bless you all. May God bless you all.
As we all know that the Devi has incarnated on this earth thousands of times to protect the mankind and to grow us in our spiritual ascent. The main purpose of this creation and her incarnation is only for the spiritual ascent. So if we don't purify our desire and don't understand this purpose of the Devi, then this protection is not going to be of any value to us. Shri Mataji in the speech of Navratri Puja 1984 explains the work of the heart. The heart pumps the blood and creates pure cells and supplies them to the different parts of our body. The heart is also called as the Anahat, which means it beats without any external rhythm or external force. It's perfect, is extremely disciplined. Even a small change in that can cause heart problems to the human beings. So in the same way, we have to have a pure desire for ascent and should completely discipline ourselves like the beating of the heart. Discipline is a key to clean our chakras and awaken the powers within. We have to achieve the qualities of all the chakras, and for that Shri Mataji says what is lacking is the discipline. She explains very nicely and gives a lot of importance that we should not be indisciplined. So we need to manifest all the shaktis of these chakras. And for that we need to spend time to develop the powers within us by putting our attention and continuously working on them. Of course, by the grace of Shri Mataji only this is going to happen. But we have to put our effort from our side. We need to ask ourselves, what is the problem do we have? How do I improve myself? How do I work hard? Which aspects am I lacking? And when we ask these questions, we will realize that the answer is discipline. Answer is daily regular meditation, introspection, and practicing all the good qualities of these chakras. In Navratri, we pray for the protection of the Devi, and Shri Mataji in the form of Devi has been protecting the mankind for ages. In this Amrutvani, Shri Mataji gives the importance of discipline for Sahajogis, which will help us awaken these powers within us, so that we are getting the protection from the Devi. So let's now together listen to this beautiful lecture from Shri Mataji on Navratri Puja 1984, which was delivered in London. Jai Shri Mataji.
Now when we are celebrating the greatest of greatest, this Navratri, there must be something special about it. That we have to cleanse this heart completely, fully, and make it so pure that it purifies all the blood that passes through the whole of the body. So the cells of this heart, which has made this great organ, has to be the best, because the cells of the heart within a human body are the best cells, the highest quality, the most sensitive. And it's the heart that expresses the Anahata, the sound that is without percussion. While we find that there are some people of caliber. There are. But others talk more, show off more, and do not have the caliber. Now, to achieve that caliber should be possible because you are born on this special land of England. That possibility must be built within you. But then what is lacking? Why is it that with all the possibility, with all the great background, with all the merits to be here, why is it we find that Sahaja Yogis for years together do not come up to many others? What is the reason? Heart, if you see, has a pulse rate and it moves with a certain sound, and you can even get it onto a graph, and it is so systematic, it is so regularized, it is so disciplined that even a slightest murmur or slightest change shows on the graph. It is a very sensitive thing. And that is what is lacking here, is that discipline of the heart. It's an erratic, funny heart which swells up in ego. And whatever one may talk, this is another reading people have, that whatever you may tell them, that time seriously they listen to you, and second moment it has no effect on them. So this is another thing we should see, that if it is within us, let us understand that what we lack is disciplining. And that disciplining has to come, otherwise our caliber cannot improve. But for all that, I think what we should have is innate intelligence. No education, innate intelligence. Innate intelligence to understand that our caliber has to improve. Now here pulsates the spirit. The spirit and not the power. The witness, the one that watches. That is the reflection of God, who is the spectator of the work of the Devi. Actually, what happens? That without rising up to that status, if we also say, all right, we are also watching because we are the spirit, then we do not achieve that caliber. And with all the blessings, like 7 auras of the heart, we have got 7 ashrams. We do not understand that we all have to discipline ourselves. Only to take advantage or to be in the Sahaja Yoga, to claim that you are a Sahaja Yogi, is not a sign of being a cell of the heart. And warning has to be given now. Very important is, at this juncture, when Sahaja Yoga is now taking off, remember this, the speed has been gained and it is taking off. Those who will be left behind will be left behind. So don't get into bumptiousness. First is your character, as everybody says, they are very bumptious. Try to be humble, and then understand that you have to be in the plane and not left behind on the grounds. It is moving fast. Now the most fortunate thing is that today is the Navratri and that I should be in London, and this Navratri Puja should be performed here. No other country is that privileged because this is the highest puja. The greatest ritual which you can attend. So why do we do Navratri? In the heart, to do Navratri is to accept the powers of the Shakti. To realize the power that all these chakras have got in themselves. And that when they are enlightened, how you can express all these powers of these 9 chakras within ourselves. The 7 chakras plus the heart and the moon makes it 9. But I would say that 7 of these, and on top of that we should say 2 more centers, which Blake has described surprisingly as 9 centers, clearly. Just now I cannot talk of the higher 2 centers, but let us at least talk of the 7 centers. The power of these centers have we been able to develop within ourselves. How can you do it? You have no time. You are all busy people and bumptious. So now, to develop these powers, we have to concentrate on these chakras. Everywhere I went, I was surprised. The questions they asked me, the way they were, nobody talked about their family, house, jobs, or any other nonsensical thing like unemployment and all that. They just asked me, Mother, how do we develop the power of this chakra or that chakra or that chakra? And I asked them, how is it you are asking about a particular chakra? They said, because we find this is missing in us. Especially in me, this one is not all right. This is another negativity to make my throat all right. Now, for a realized soul, there is no need for me to discipline you or to tell you all these things, because I hate to talk in this tone to you today. But I have discovered that if I do not warn you now, tomorrow you will blame me that I did not warn you. Take it as a serious warning. Now, after realization, there is no need for me to discipline you at all, because you have got the light, you have known what is realization, you have known what it means to be realized, and you have also known how much you have gained out of it, how much your personality has improved. But there is something more that has to be done. is to see for yourself if you have really disciplined yourself or not. There is no need for any leader to tell you. There is no need for any ashram fellow to tell you. There is no need for anyone to tell you. It is you who is a realized soul. You are your own master. You are your own guru. Imagine, you are all gurus. Great gurus and sadgurus. Respected saints, where all the angels have to shower you with flowers. Think of it. And here you are bumptiously giving lectures, talking bumptiously. Very embarrassing, even for the deities. They don't know what to do, whether to garland you or to shut your mouth. Here you are, who have been, or I take them out. Who is crying? That is child. Here you are in such a great position that you have got realization. That only thing you have to accept the beauty of this great yoga, that you just enlighten your own powers, which are on these 7 chakras.
Jai Shri Mataji. So now we have understood that the protection that we get is from both the Devi, who definitely protects, and Shri Mataji, who is always there to protect. But there is one condition which is required from our side, from a Sahajogi's side, and that is that we have to recognize her. This is a very important condition. So we have to recognize that Shri Mataji is the Adi Shakti herself. This is a very important faith that we have to establish in the heart and recognize her in our hearts and accept it fully. That she is the one who has given us realization. No one in the history of spirituality has been able to give us realization. It has been done by her and her alone. And this is the greatest of greatest things. Its magnitude, its significance is still not understood very clearly in our head and our hearts. Shri Mataji says in a speech of Navratri Puja 1991 in Kabela that only if we recognize will we be protected. It is a very significant and important statement. So even though she is Mahamaya and she looks very simple and not like her old photos of Durga in her real form, it is important to recognize this aspect of Mahamaya, as Shri Mataji says that in these modern times, we would not have been able to bear her in her true form. So the respect that we show to the photograph should be extremely with respect and recognition. It is only when we recognize that the great powers within the photo, which is her complete representation, and we then pray with humble folded hands, put both hands in the heart and ask Shri Mataji, only then the mother gives us that blessing of the recognition. The second thing that she says is that we need to be collective. That is the only way we can again grow, as she is also there in the collective. Then we will also listen to another beautiful speech of 1990 in Switzerland, where she stresses that she gives us realization. She looks after us physically, mentally, emotionally, our well-being, and she protects and she assures us that we have to be completely secured. However, If we are worried all the time about our family, about our children, our jobs, that means we do not have faith in Shri Mataji. We have to recognize, we have to have complete faith. So Shri Mataji says that our attention should always be on the Devi, on Shri Mataji's lotus feet. She quotes a poem of Sri Guru Nanak Ji that there is a boy who is playing kite and laughing and talking to his friends, but his attention is on the kite. Similarly, women are walking with pots on their head, but talking to each other, but with their attention is still on balancing the pots. Similarly, a housewife is carrying her child and doing all the household work, but her attention is on the child. In a similar way, in our daily life, when we are doing our daily life's work or day-to-day work, we have to keep looking at our attention. Where is it going? Where is it? We should always make sure that we are not distracted, that our attention is always at Shri Mataji's lotus feet. So finally she says, she is protecting us. The Ganas are protecting us. The Devi Devtas are protecting us. Only because they are connected to Shri Mataji, as she is Adi Shakti. However, if we do not recognize and we misbehave and are not serious in our attention, and our attention is always somewhere else, then that protection does not work. So come, let us listen to these two beautiful speeches, Navratri Puja 1991, Kabela, and Navratri Puja 1990, Switzerland. Jai Shri Mataji.
So the way we have to work out our protection has to be mutual. Mother, of course, is there to protect you all the time. Her powers are there to protect you. But surprisingly, in the modern times, there is one condition which has to be fulfilled. Because in those days, good were good and evil were evil. There was no mixing up. So once they asked for goddess, they accepted her, she came in her real form and she worked it out. But in modern times, you must know that all these evil things are also lingering in your head, little bit here and there. People are extremely superficial. They are very much prone to the mass attitude, fashions, things like that. Sort of their personality is not that developed as that of those bhaktas who knew they were right, who knew they were righteous, who knew whatever they were doing was correct and were standing on their legs, firm. So, the modern Sajogi is very different from the Sajogi of olden time. Because in the olden times, it was not easy to get realization. 1 in a billion or in a trillion. And they had to work very hard. So as they worked hard, very hard, they got cleansed and built up themselves and toiled. Like any art piece which takes time, is done with care, is definitely 1,000 times better than these modern artists just putting 2-3 lines like this. So today's human being is like a modern artist, you see. You put one line and you say, you must see this into that person. You must have an identity. I mean, what identity you can have? With one line, you say, find out the identity. So the Sahajogis which are today here have to realize that all these things are surrounding us. And these evil forces are also there. There are some within us, some are without. So it looks to be a very difficult task, but it's not. Because one condition, if you can understand, is that you have to recognize me. I know I'm Mahamaya, I'm really very clever at it. But I'm truthful. I do not have crocodile tears. I cannot have. I'm truthful. But still, I'm Mahamaya. So to recognize me, what should we do? If we recognize, then you are protected. And the cleansing is the simplest thing in Sahaja Yoga, is to be collective. If you are not collective, then know that something wrong with you. If you are collective, then as if you are taking your bath in the river Ganges. You don't have to go to Himalayas, you don't have to do individual sadhana much, you don't have to, just be collective. If you are collective, if you are enjoying the collective, then you should know that you are clean. No blemishes there. You are absolutely all right. Now the second part of this Mahamaya business. I had to be very close to you. I had to be extremely close. Talk to you, to have a rapport, to tell you everything about yoga, to make you absolutely aware of yourself. This had to be done, and with all these complications within your mind, within your heart, within your body, I had to work it out. To come close in the real form would have been very dangerous. So one had to be a Mahamaya. But despite that, if you could recognize me, to understand me, that I am Divine Personality, it's an incarnation. That's all the deities want. Then they'll look after you in every way. They'll give you all the powers, they'll give you all the satisfaction, all the protection that you want. This is the condition which for a rational mind is very difficult to understand. That how can Adi Shakti be in one body? How can the infinite can become finite? But human beings cannot do that. Only human being. God can do it. He is God after all. And if so, you have so many miracles, you have so many photographs, so many things to see, but this is what one has to recognize. Oh, I see people, when I talk to them, they start talking to me a little frivolously. Not with that depth, not with that feeling that I am Mahamaya. Then some of them even answer me. Some of them, if I tell them something, they are ready to give an answer, explanation. Of course, this freedom I have given you deliberately. But must understand that you have to talk to me in a way that is, you would talk to Adi Shakti. Very important. Then how you behave is very important. It should not be artificial. It should not be superficial. But best is to put your hand on your heart, both the hands, and just try to feel. Your mother is Adi Shakti. She has created all this universe. She has created all this world. And she is for your protection. Even Sri Krishna could not protect Pandavas. They had to go in the forest, they had to suffer. But not Sarjuvis. As soon as I come to know about your problems, my attention can work. Now the Adishakti's work is to give you realization first. Second is to give you life, to comfort you. If you have physical problems, she will look after you. She'll go all out. If you have mental problem, she'll try to solve it. So she is a comforter. She gives you the comfort. At the same time, she protects you. I have seen many people, even now, get frightened very soon at the slightest thing. Why should you be frightened? There's a tiger standing. You can't see him, maybe. Today might be in the picture. And your mother is so powerful. You have to understand how powerful she is. This is the understanding is not in your heads. Sometimes your wives are more powerful or your children are more powerful. When you know that your mother is so powerful and she is your mother, then you should be absolutely secure. And then things work out. I'll give you an example of one gentleman whom I met in Madras. Once, not many years back, about I think 2-3 years back or so, was such a seeker, immediately recognized me. And then he went down to Bombay, posting was there, and he received a letter saying that his mother on deathbed. So he went down. The doctor said that she has a galloping cancer and she is going to die in no time. He knows my mother is Adishakti. Just took my photograph, sat before me. He said, Mother, I have nothing to say, whatever you think proper for my mother, please do that. Just he said so. It's connected. They said 3 days after she's going to die, 3 days after she got out of the hospital. He took him down to Bombay, showed him in a hospital, in cancer hospital. They said she has no cancer, nothing, she's completely cured. If the energy is not allowed to flow, you are still worried about your wife, you are worried about your house, you are worried about your children, worried about this, about my children, my house, my wife. This my, when it drops, then I can work. But it should not be taken that I am saying that you become ascetics. No way. No saints were ascetics. They all had wives, they all had children. But all their attention was at the lotus feet of the mother. As Guru Nanak has said, that a little boy is playing with his kite. The kite is going all over. And he is talking to his friends, joking, this thing. But his attention is on the kite. There's a lady who is cleaning her house with a little child on her waist, and she's cleaning the house and grooming it. She's doing everything, but her attention is on her child. Then there are ladies in India, as you know, they have 3-4 pitchers filled water and they walk with both the hands like this. They know how to balance it. They're talking to each other, laughing, making fun, pulling legs. But the attention is on the pitchers. My attention is always on your Kundalini. You cannot play tricks in Sajog. Take it from me. Anybody who tries to play any trick will be very badly punished. So please be very, very careful not to be dishonest and not to play tricks in Sahaja Yoga. I won't do anything, but here they are. You see already with all his teeth. They are all fixed quantities, I have told them. They are fixed quantities. They know what to do and they will do it. So there is no need to play any tricks in Sahaja Yoga. This is another mistake of Sahaja Yogis, that they think they can play tricks with me or with Sahaja Yoga. When those things come into your head, I would say these are demonic ideas, because they will destroy you completely. On one side, Sahaja Yoga is a blessing. Absolutely blessing on the ascent, you go ahead like that. You go to a height, but you must know also you have reached the height, you have to be very careful to be there, because once you fall from that height, how deep you will go? It's logical again to see that you will fall very low. So here you are having the blessings, all the beauties, all the love, all the joy, all the knowledge, all the friends, all the care. And there, if you don't want to be here, just because you are playing tricks, you want to be here and play tricks, that is not possible. That doesn't work out. You are immediately thrown out. And once you are thrown out, God knows where you will go. That's not our lookout. But you are thrown out by these. So one has to know that the deities are extremely alert. And they are watching all of you. Because they have to guard you, they have to look after you, they have to help you, they have to do everything for you. They have to work out everything for you. They are the ones who create flowers for you, they are doing all kinds of good things for you. But at the same time, they are only attached to me. All of them. Not to you. Because you are my children, they are looking after you. Once you try to misbehave, you are finished. And you go down.
Jai Shri Mataji. So now we have understood the importance of recognition. That we have to recognize who Shri Mataji is to be able to get the protection of the Adi Shakti, the Devi Devtas and the Ganas. This is a compulsion, as he calls it. However, this compulsion cannot be demanded. It comes from the heart. Through the various experiences, as she explained about the car example, and we all have such tremendous experiences in Sahaja Yoga. Another important aspect which he explains here is that we have to have innate wisdom to know what is good and what is bad. And innate wisdom comes when we are completely surrendered to the Adi Shakti. If we look at the God of wisdom, that is Sri Ganesha, we understand that in his wisdom, he recognizes only his mother and no one else. His wisdom is because of his tremendous bhakti and shraddha towards his mother, Sri Adi Shakti, which we all know is Shri Mataji. Similarly, we should also develop this bhakti and shraddha towards Shri Mataji in our hearts. Shri Mataji explains in this Amritvani of 2002 Navratri Puja in the USA that bhakti is not some mad behavior where we are always singing the praise or doing some ritualistic things. It is what she calls wise bhakti. It is a heartfelt reverence and devotion to Shri Mataji, Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti. This comes with the wonderful experiences of Sahaj Yoga. When this keeps growing every day, the powers of wisdom also grow, and the powers of protection are also very strong. This is why she is called Bhakti Gamya, because the goddess loves praises, and in our complete humility and bhakti, when we just say a prayer, even once, the powers start acting. But we have to be absolutely genuine about it. Finally, she says between whether wisdom comes from bhakti and shraddha, or through having bhakti and shraddha, do we get wisdom? The answer is that it lies somewhere in between. Both go hand in hand. So we need to pray to the great goddess that Shri Mataji, please bestow unto us the same wisdom and bhakti and shraddha that you have bestowed upon your son, Shri Ganesha. This request, Shri Mataji, we surrender at your lotus feet. Jai Shri Mataji.
But for a person who is standing in his wisdom, is the sage as they call him, is the saint as they call it. But this can be, every Sahajogi could be a saint, could be a sage. Every Sahajogi could be that. But if you lose your wisdom, then you are no good. So I have to tell you one thing, it's your wisdom which will save you. Your wisdom will unconsciously help you. There was one gentleman, Sahajogi, once he was going somewhere in the car and suddenly he decided to go on to another road, suddenly. And what happened, that on that road there was a very big accident and he would have been in that accident. Like that, there are many incidents people have told me, Mother, how we were saved, how we were brought to the brink of death and then how we are just alive. It is because the divine needs you. Divine doesn't want you to die or to finish off. It needs you very much. It has to do its work and you are the instrument of that divine. If you have wisdom, you are the best instrument for the divine to work it out. The Devi's powers, first of all, existed in her body only. And she killed so many Rakshasas and evil people. She did kill it, actually. But now, there's no need. Because you all are there. You are the instruments. And it will all work out in such a way that all those people who are trying to destroy goodness, trying to destroy wise people, they will be killed. They'll be finished. They'll be destroyed. This is not to be done through any outside instrument or anything. It's your wisdom is the biggest instrument that will work it out. Do you know, when I came to America first, I saw such a horrible thing here, that people were running after some horrible gurus. And I never came. After 9 years I came. Because I said, these people are mad. How do they follow these horrible people? And why do they believe into? They have no wisdom to understand what is the truth is like. And it works out now, today. You can see there are so many people here. So that is what is the wisdom part. And if this wisdom comes to Americans, they'll come to Sahaja. Not only come, but they will grow into it. But the wisdom will be to see what are we going to do, what are we going to get, what is our aim. All these things must be brought to them, which is not done normally. We must talk to them. I must tell them, what is within you is the spirit. You should become the spirit. Every one of them has said so. So why not do that? And why not become the spirit? So they will themselves feel, yes, that's true. She said that you should become the spirit. They'll go to church, they'll go to temples, they'll go here, there, so not understanding why they are doing it. They need some sort of a protection. That's why they go. But this protection comes from your spiritual status. Where do you find as far as spirit is concerned? Those who have enjoyed the spirit, I've seen, do not deviate from the right path. But those who haven't, they may call themselves Sahajogis, anything, but they can be very wrong. So first of all, find out about yourself. If you are a real Sahajogi, if you really want to be an instrument of this power, then what you have to do is to become full of bhakti and shraddha for that. And this bhakti and shraddha is very joy-giving, I know. It never makes you tired, it never troubles you, nothing. But it's very nourishing and beautiful. But it should be at the right place, with the right aims and right understanding. For all that, what you need again is wisdom. And you should try to find out, are you wise enough? Are you wise or are you not? It's very difficult for every human being to find out whether you are right or wrong. Because you see the effects of this wisdom all around. So the bhakti and shraddha to the goddess definitely gives you wisdom. We have had some people in India who did lots of bhakti, so-called, and showed lots of shraddha, but they were not. They were not. Just they were talking about it or doing all kinds of things about it, but they were not. So wisdom is something, a very innate quality, very innate. It's not superficial. You cannot just say that this person is wise or not. It shows that just like a power, it's a power of understanding and is supported by the power of the goddess. So she is the giver of wisdom. This is the biggest quality of the goddess, that she is the giver of wisdom. And wisdom comes as a part of the evolutionary process. Now she's brought about all the evolution so far, and to go further, she is going to make you a very wise person. Even an ordinary sage in a village, in a far-fetched places, is respected, if he is a real sage. But he is a stupid fellow, what can you do? He may befool you, may do all kinds of tricks and things like that. And then, does he get anything good for you? No, nothing. So first thing is, anybody who is supposed to be your guru or supposed to be the person who is guiding you must have bhakti. Bhakti of the goddess. Very important to understand. Modern things have come to such a limit that they have no respect for the goddess. No, they don't even talk about the goddess. And they just talk about something which cannot be explained and understood. If they talk about Christ, they won't talk about him, that he's the one who said at the cross, "Behold the mother." What was the need to say that? Because he didn't want his mother to get into trouble. But he said, "Behold the mother." That means look out for the mother who is going to come. They all have indicated and they have said so. But still we are busy with our own ego and our own understanding, and we run after things which are not real. First of all, you must follow only thing that is real, not unreal things. For that also again you need wisdom. I think for that you need wisdom very much more. And that is something, whether you have the wisdom first or you have the blessings of the mother, it's between the two.
Jai Shri Mataji. We will now try and understand what is the importance during these 10 days of Navaratri. What are we supposed to do? And what is the significance of Navaratri? As we all know that we have not been made in one day. We have become human beings from a single amoeba cell, from a single cellular organ, to this complete complicated human beings over millions of years. The recorded histories in the last 8,000 to 10,000 years about our evolution is recorded from the time the Vishnu avatars have taken place, especially from Sri Rama's avatara to the modern Sri Mataji's avatara of the opening of the Sahasrara and integration of all religions. However, these 7 chakras have been developed slowly and steadily by the coming of the great incarnations at each chakra. Of course, Sri Shiva never incarnates. He is only an eternal witness, and this whole drama of life is being played to please him so that we all become like him, the perfect Atma. That is our goal. But for that to happen, it has happened over evolutionary process, and for that 3 great incarnations have done this. And the first one is Sri Adi Guru Dattatreya. As we all know, he has incarnated 10 times in the form of Sri Janaka, Sri Abraham, Sri Zarathustra, Sri Moses, Sri Confucius, Sri Lao Tse, Sri Muhammad Sahib, Sri Socrates, Sri Guru Nanak Ji, and Sri Shirdi Sainath. But along with these 10 great incarnations of the Adi Guru, the disciple principles have also come in thousands in order to awaken our dharma and teach us the dharma at the void. Great saints like Sri Tukaram Ji, Sri Kabir Das Ji, the great Sri Adi Shankaracharya, Sri Gyaneshwara Ji, Namdeva, there are so many who have all helped in our evolution. We also know at Nabhi Chakra, Sri Vishnu's 10 avatars of Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasimha, Vamana, Parashurama, Rama, Sri Krishna have brought us to this complete state of human being. And of course, we also know that Sri Ganesha came as Lord Jesus at the Agnya along with Sri Buddha and Mahavira. But all along, from the day 1 of the Big Bang, the Shakti, the Adi Shakti has been working for millions of years for creating this universe. She has worked relentlessly in various forms over various eras for one and only one thing, and that is the evolutionary ascent. It is said that she has incarnated on this earth 1,000 times to lift man in every era of human evolution, be it in the form of Sri Durga and her various forms to destroy the Rakshasa and the establishment of Vaikuntha, to the silent passive avatars of Sri Sita with Sri Rama, Sri Radha with Sri Krishna. Nanaki came as a sister of Sri Nanaka. Fatima came as the daughter of Sri Muhammad. And of course, we have Mother Mary of Sri Lord Jesus Christ. They have come as silent avatars and have sacrificed so much and have given so much of tremendous love and patience for nourishing us and evolving us at every chakra. So, in this beautiful speech of Navaratri 1985 in Switzerland, she says that in Sahaja, of course, Sahasrara Day is most important because we got our greatest and greatest of Atma Sakshatkara. But to come to this point of Atma Sakshatkar, the self-realization, the evolution over millions of years have happened by this Shakti. So during Navaratri, the only reason is that we need to thank Shri Mataji, the Adi Shakti, that she has come, worked so hard for our evolution. So these 10 days are for thanksgiving to the great goddess. So it is impossible we will ever be indebted, not only for this life, but for the lives previously for how much she has worked for our ascent. So we have to thank Shri Mataji. The Shri Mataji, we are ever indebted to you. We thank you from our hearts. Our koti pranams that you have helped us in this evolution. We surrender everything and recognize you completely. Ultimately, she says that the power behind the whole evolution of the Shakti is the mother's love, the power of love. So for our evolution in the future also, we have to only use this power of love to be able to evolve further as superhuman beings. So come, let us listen to this beautiful Amritwani, Navratri Puja, 1985, Switzerland, about what is the importance, what do we do in Navratri is nothing but thanksgiving to Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti, Shri Mataji Nirmala Devi.
That's how the Devi arranges everything. So the ascent starts evolving. In that, the play of the Devi is the Navratri, in your ascent. From ages, Navratri, that's why, is the most important puja. In Sahaja Yoga, Navratri is the most important puja. Though we can say modern Sahaja Yoga, Sahasrara is because that's how you started getting your realization. But if you go to the whole historical events of evolution, you'll find Navratri is the one which has brought you to Sahasrara. Without the help of the Devi at different stages of your ascent, you could not have been in a position to receive your realization. So all the steps that you took in the past are today worshipped and are used for thanking the Devi for what she did to bring you down. So it's like a thanksgiving. Without her work, nothing could have happened. So when we read about the Devi, about her incarnations, how she came on this earth to save her bhaktas, people who are trying to ascend to cross this Bhavasagara, how she worked hard, how she fought the devils, how she killed the demons, single-handed. She took upon herself the responsibility of making the people cross the Bhavasagara. Guru gave you the strength of dharma, but she is the one who brought you out. Even those who were dharmic could not do it because of the demonic pressure. She is the one who fought single-handed with her powers of destruction. In her love for you, she fought. She brought you to this life. And then she took a milder form of incarnation. Even during the time of all the gurus, she took the form of, as you know, Janaki was the daughter of Janaka. Then Fatima was the daughter of Muhammad Shah. And Nanaki was the sister of Nanaka. In those forms, these powers sustained and nourished the Guru Tattva. And later on, or sometimes simultaneously, they incarnated in milder forms to help human beings to rise. So today is the day of thanksgiving. As Guru Puja is a day of thanksgiving to your Guru. the one who has counseled you, the one who has told you about the truth, the one who has taught you the truth and has given you realization. And the Devi Puja is a thanksgiving where single-handed, just like a very loving mother, under her sari, she protected, fought for you, fought with every enemy that is around, every sort of problems that existed, and ultimately brought you to Sahasrara level and then gave you realization. It's a real thanksgiving to the mother. So we can say Navratri is like a Mother's Day, where you give thanksgiving to her, which was just relentless, continuous working for her children. Motherhood is much more important than the Guruhood, because Guru is the one who trains you, makes you efficient, but the mother forgives you, she loves you, she sustains you, and she teaches you how to love. She has tremendous patience and tremendous love, and she does it single-handed. She doesn't expect anything from you. Absolutely selfless. Selfless is a very small word, I should say. It's such an expansive compassion which engulfs everything that is wrong, dissolves it, digests it, absorbs it. So it's a very great day, Navratri is, for all the Sahajotis. Because then she took her form as Sita, as the power of Sri Rama. Silent, potential, suffering. How much she suffered? How much she suffered? Then she took the form of Radha. Then she came as 5 powers of Saraswati, as the 5 wives of Sri Krishna. Then she came as Mary. That was the greatest suffering, I think, to see the Son being crucified. The suffering, silent, patient suffering, she had to go through it. All that drama to be seen was too much. She went through all that because you all had to cross your Agya Chakra. She had to sacrifice her child. It's easy for a father to do that, very difficult for a mother. Now you are all mothers, so many of you, you will know what it is to have a child and how one feels about it. After doing that, she comes to the state where you have to give your realization. It's a work of tremendous patience, as you know. It's tremendous patience and understanding. Human beings, as the time advanced, have evolved for doubt, for realization, but also evolved into very funny, stupid, crooked, nonsensical ways. It's impossible to understand how they go about with their stupid ideas and how troublesome they can be. They can be very crooked, funny, troublesome, to such an extent that sometimes even it is difficult to forgive. Despite that, so many of you are here today in Europe, in the land of the Guru. Here I find who have got realization. So the mother's pride, mother's joy, knows no bounds, no doubt about it. It's such a great thing to see her children sitting here to receive all the powers from her. Now again, when we are in this situation, we have to know the first principle with which the whole thing started. That it is the power of love. It is the power of love that has brought you to this day. And if the power of love that you will expression manifest, you will evolve.
Jai Shri Mataji. Now let us all get into meditation. For that, we will keep the left hand on the lap, right hand on the left heart. And here we have to thank Shri Mataji from the bottom of our hearts. So how do we pray? How do we thank her? Also Shri Mataji has taught. So in this speech in 1984 at Chelmsford Road, 5th October, she has explained this beautiful prayer. And let us listen to it from her, because she has said it with such intensity that it will touch our hearts. And let us say this prayer with complete humility. This mother's prayer.
Mother, please come in my heart. Let me clean my heart so that you are there. Put your feet into my heart. Let your feet be worshipped in my heart. Let me not be in delusion. Take me away from illusions. Keep me in reality. Take away the sheen of superficiality. Let me enjoy your feet in my heart. Let me see your feet in my heart. Only such people. Even Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesha have done that. Don't you think you have to do it? So humble down yourself. Humble down yourself in your heart. Humble down in your heart. Enjoy your humility. Enjoy your virtues. The greatest virtue of a Sahaja is humility. Now so many things you have seen to convince you.
Let us keep both the hands on the lap. Now during this Navaratri, a lot of mantras are offered to Shri Mataji from the Vedas. Very beautiful, beautiful prayers to the Devi. One of the prayers is Argala Stotra. So now, and this being in Sanskrit, it has very good vibrations. So we will now listen to the Argala Stotra. We will understand every word that is being said and thank the Devi for all that she has given us, and we pray for her to give us the protection and well-being and the evolutionary ascent.
अस्य श्री मदर्गणस्तोत्र महामन्त्रस्य स्वर्णाकर्षण भैरव ऋषिः अनुष्ठुप् छन्दः श्री महाकाली देवता आं बीजं गं शक्तिः लं कीलकं चण्डिका प्रसाद सिद्ध्यर्थे जपे विनियोगः ॐ आं हृदयाय नमः गं शिरसे स्वाहा लं शिखायै वषट् आं कवचाय हुं गं नेत्रत्रयाय वौषट् लम् अस्त्राय फट् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वरोमिति दिग्बन्धः प्रकाशमध्यस्थितचित्स्वरूपां वराभये सदन्तीं त्रिनेत्रां सिन्दूरवर्णामतिकोमलाङ्गीं मायामयीं तत्त्वमयीं नमामि। ॐ ह्रीं श्रीं आं गं लं सर्वजनसम्मोहिनीं चण्डिकायै नमः। ॐ नमश्चण्डिकायै जय त्वं देवी चामुण्डे जय भूतापहारिणी जय सर्वगते देवी कालरात्रि नमोऽस्तु ते। ॐ नमश्चण्डिकायै जयन्ती मङ्गला काली भद्रकाली कपालिनी दुर्गा क्षमा शिवा धात्री स्वाहा स्वधा नमोऽस्तु ते। मधुकैटभविद्रावि विधातृवरदे नमः। रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि महिषासुरनिर्नाशी विधात्री वरदे नमः। रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि महिषासुरनिर्नाशी विधात्री वरदे नमः। रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि वन्दिताङ्घ्रियुगे देवी सर्वसौभाग्यदायिनी रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि चण्डिके सततं युद्धे जयं दास्यासि भक्तितः। रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि अनन्तरूपभरिते सर्वशत्रुविनाशिनी रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि सुधूम्रलोचनवधे चण्डमुण्डविनाशिनी रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि रक्तबीजवधे देवी चण्डमुण्डविनाशिनी रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि अचिन्त्यरूपचरिते सर्वशत्रुविनाशिनी रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि न तेभ्य सर्वदा भक्त्या चण्डिके दुरितापहे रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि स्तुवभ्यो भक्तिपूर्वत्वां चण्डिके व्याधिनाशिनी रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि चण्डिके सततं ये त्वामर्चयन्तीह भक्तितः रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि देहि सौभाग्यमारोग्यं देहि देवी परं सुखं रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि विदेहि द्विषतां नाशं विदेहि बलमुच्चकै रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि विदेहि देवि कल्याणं विदेहि परमां श्रियं रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि विद्यावन्तं यशस्वन्तं लक्ष्मीवन्तं जनं कुरु रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि प्रचण्डदैत्यदर्पघ्ने चण्डिके प्रणताय मे रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि चतुर्भुजे चतुर्वक्त्रे संस्तुते परमेश्वरी रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि कृष्णेन संस्तुते देवी शश्वद्भक्त्या त्वमम्बिके रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि हिमाचलसुतनाथ संस्तुते परमेश्वरी रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि सुरासुरशिरोरत्ननिर्घष्टचरणाम्बिके रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि इन्द्राणीपतिसद्भाव पूजिते परमेश्वरी रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि देवी भक्तजनोद्धाम दत्तानन्दोदयेऽम्बिके रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि पुत्रान् देहि धनं देवी सर्वकामांश्च देहि मे रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो जहि पत्नीं मनोरमां देवी मनोवृत्तानुसारिणीं तारिणीं दुर्गसंसारसागरस्य कुलोद्भवाम् इदं स्तोत्रं पठित्वा तु महास्तोत्रं पठेन्नर स तु सप्तशतीसङ्ख्यावरमाप्नोति सम्पदाम् इति मार्काण्डेयपुराणे अर्गळास्तोत्रं सम्पूर्णम् श्रीजगदम्बार्पणमस्तु साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः।
Come, let us now sit in silent meditation by keeping the attention on the Sahasrara. we will say the 3 Maha Mantras.
May God bless you. May God bless you all. May God bless you all. May God bless you all. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Jai Shri Mataji. Let us now raise our Kundalini and put Bandhan. So now let us summarize some of the important aspects that we learned today. We learned that discipline is very, very important to awaken the powers within. As we understood that the cells of the heart are the purest and are circulated all over the body. In the same way, our desire has to be extremely pure for the ascent. And for that, like the beat of the heart, which is relentless, so should be our effort, which has to be so disciplined for our spiritual growth. Then only the powers will manifest. Secondly, we understood that the only way of progress is by recognizing who Shri Mataji is, and that she is Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti herself. And this recognition and acceptance should come in our heart. And let us pray that Shri Mataji give us that recognition so that we get the blessings of all your Devas and Devis and the Ganas. And then they start acting and taking us beyond in spiritual ascent. We also understood that wisdom is very important for our growth, And from wisdom we get comes from the bhakti and shraddha, the dedication and devotion to Shri Mataji, to Sahajoga. And as Shri Ganesha has been made, who is a Lord of wisdom and who knows no one else but his mother, in the same way, Shri Mataji, let please develop our wisdom through the development of our shraddha and bhakti, dedication and devotion. And this we know comes from our various experiences that we give every day from the Parama Chaitanya and the miracles that it does in our life. And finally, we understood that Navaratri is only for one thing: thanksgiving to the great Devi, the Adi Shakti, who not only now but for millions of years has been working for one and only one thing: to give us our evolutionary ascent. So Shri Mataji, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Navaratri is nothing but thanksgiving. And we will always be indebted to you, Shri Mataji, for giving us this evolution over millions of years, and during this Janma, during this birth, the opening of the Sahasrara, that greatest evolution, which a spiritual evolution which has happened. We thank you again and again for the tremendous love, tremendous patience that you have given to us, that you have worked so hard. We surrender all the fruits that we are getting at your lotus feet. Jai Shri Mataji.